Your heart is stone. Your heart is cold. Your heart is stone. Your heart is cold. It's cold. Your heart is stone. Your heart is cold. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zoom call-in night. It's the Mark and Spire
I was
Show.
walking down the road today, looking for another way to ease my mind and know my living.
Day 1742 in a row. Got a logo on my head, Joanne. We're here. Got the Zoom link open apparently. Why is that showing when I'm not even keeping it open? That's weird. You see me. I'm there. I'm doing it. Got a double-decker style. Let's see if we can figure out why it's doing this. How is everybody doing out there? I got a weird background on myself. I don't know. Oh, that's why. There's a double Zoom deal going. We have the Zoom ready to go. I'm going to share the link with you guys so we can get this party started. If you guys want to call in and you want to chat about something, let's do it. I'm going to try to do this at least once a week where we can get everybody on the line together. And we could talk about any questions you may have lingering. You could ask me anything, or we could just kind of, I could write a song, whatever, piece of comedy, whatever you want to do. That's what we're going to do with these get-togethers here. Whether they're Sunday nights, whatever. Tonight, it's Sunday night. I'm giving you the link. As soon as I can find it. Invite. Here we go. Copy invite link in it. We're doing it. Here we go to the fam and friends. Oh, We of Liberty wants to hear Secret Asian Man again. I don't even remember what I sang for that, but it was fun. I started the show tonight a little different with a little countdown. I kind of like the countdown idea. I've been thinking about doing that for a while. I just didn't know how to do it. Kind of threw it off the wall today, see how it went. So each day we'll probably do that just to get people gathering in here before we start the show. Especially sometimes I can't get on the air right at 10:30, so at least gives a couple people time to get here. Anyway, how's everybody doing? It's the end of the weekend. We're going to chat a little bit. Maybe I'll play a little music. I'm not really sure. It depends on if people actually call in to chat with me. But we can talk about anything. And pretty much an open book, right? I mean, I've been here for how many days? And I say how I feel. Been doing that for a very long time. And I'm willing to assist in any way I can. I think that answers come from this moment. And if we're willing to connect in this moment, we're going to find them. We could do that together. Andrea O'Neill is joining me in the chat. Let's see, we got to get Zabrowski to finish. Zabrowski, can you do the woohoo early? Because we have Andrea O'Neill. She's trying to get in on the Zoom. Zabrowski.
You give me more. Hey. So many perfect ways to spend your days. It hit me. Yeah. Whoa. There's something to live for. Yeah. There's something to die for. Yeah.
Zabrowski, woohoo me.
There's something to die for. Yeah.
us with the woohoo. What? I'll point it to you. Woohoo! That was a good one. Zabrosk, that was a good one. Thanks for making the trip up from the city. I'm going to admit Andrea O'Neill into the Zoomaroo. We're doing it. Hold on, let me get Zoom open here. Now that's why I did it this other way. Hold on, I'm on it. We're going to shut this Zoom down. Zoom. And we're going to go over here to this Zoom. There we go. Andrea, how are you?
Hello.
There she is. How you doing?
I can't hear you. Why am I
I can hear you. Hold on, I'm on. Oh, we're losing a lot of frames, it looks like. Well, only 5%. That's not bad. I can handle 5%. How you doing, Andrea? You out there? Now I can't hear you. I heard you before. Now I got you. You're back.
All right.
There
Is
we
that
go.
better?
That's better. How you doing?
All right. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you. Long weekend.
Excellent.
You know? My son had a baseball game today, so I had a chance to go watch him play ball. It was nice.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Well, my weekend's like Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, I don't really even work right now, but my boyfriend's weekend is Wednesday and Thursday. So that's just another day for me.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, they all are right now.
Every day is, it's interesting, but there's so little day if you think about it. You know, we have so much that we have to handle on a daily basis, responsibilities that we can't even get a breath. That's why I think it's a difficult
I stopped working
thing.
and started doing everything I needed to do every day, I'm like, how did I have a job?
I know, right? That's actually an interesting point. I'm sitting on my desk, it looks like here, in my Zoom desk. Usually I'm behind the desk.
That, yeah. You sound a little scratchy. I don't know if that's my computer or your.
I'm not sure. I think the Zoom is a little different. Let me see. I'm going to open up Zoom and see. I know we got original sound for musicians on, so it should be the better audio. But what the hell do I know? If anybody else wants to join in, this is an open forum to chat. So Andrea O'Neill, do you have any questions or anything you'd like to discuss tonight?
Let's see. The only thing I was going to mention was that I'm going to take some of those pictures from the Israel bombings and run them through Google and see if we've seen those images before.
Ooh, I like that. You know what?
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Recycle.
Yeah, they sure do. You know what? Now that you said that, I hadn't thought about that. But now I'm seeing a lot of really weird things like Afghanistan when they shot that video of all those people running in front of that jet. And then someone put it next to what a real jet looks like. And they're like, that's an inflatable. And I didn't think about that before. It's like this thing's being pushed along the runway. It's an inflatable. And then they show a video of like the 40s and 50s where the army would just set up all these tanks and all these trucks all over the fields, or it looked like they had an army there, but it was just inflatables, and the people flipping these things over, they weighed like nothing. It's just air, and everything. There's a lot of decoys, but I think most of it is it's this. They have to create as much fear as possible so people are willing to submit to the fact that we're going to World War III. And so that's what I think the biggest thing is. We almost have to continue to turn that off and say, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. We're not going to war with the rest of the world, And
I'm hopeful that more people are seeing this than I initially thought would. But I think a lot of people are kind of seeing that everything's BS,
Yeah. Well,
stuff and then the war stuff.
Yeah. Well, I drew a parallel the other day to a friend, and he's like, I'm being red pilled by Mark Pires. I was like, I didn't know. Look, I'm not trying to red pill anybody. I think everybody should be red pilling themselves. When you started hearing government officials say, oh, you're going to research things yourself? Well, you're not a scientist. Being a scientist means nothing. Reading data and reading papers that are peer reviewed, you don't have to be a scientist to do that. Doesn't mean you understand everything in the paper, but to understand the overall scope of it by reading it, I mean, anybody can do that. But when they start telling you, don't do your research, we trust us. It's like, ooh, my goodness, And so I started to, this is the way I saw the world. I shut the news off on December 31st, 2018. I haven't watched TV since. And so I see the world, I think, in a weird perspective, because I don't get most of the negativity. I just shut it all out. So what I see from the outside is kind of this weird picture. I'm like, okay, you saw Donald J. Trump. Look, are you kidding me? I'm coming down the escalator. He's coming down the escalator with the red tie. And they're like, oh, look at this guy's running for president. He starts talking about Mexico and the issues we have with Mexico. And of course, when you start to dissect what the media did to this man, he had a whole 30-minute, everything with Trump was 32 an hour. He never did a 5-minute speech. It was 30 minutes. He'd ask questions, answer questions. And he's talking about MS-13. He's talking about how they're bringing drugs across our border. And he's saying there's some good guys, there's some good ones as well, but they're sending all the bad guys over, And so the media, because they're amazing with, with Adobe, they just cut it up. And this poor guy was skewered from day one. So here's Donald Trump's fault. He sat down and he said, I'm going to drain the swamp. The problem is that the swamp drained Donald Trump. And
right. And I'll tell you, he was, it was so, the hate was so bad. It almost wasn't even like a political issue anymore. It was just very personal.
Yeah, it was, well, because here's what you got. And this is where I started to realize how messed up this world is. So you have Donald Trump come down and they say, okay, he wants to drain us, so we have to drain him first. So every single day since then, it's been a Trump takedown, to the point that anything good Trump ever did, they would completely ignore. Anything good he ever did, they ignored.
It's true.
And anything that you could consider being a little like, this is a controversy here, or there could be because there's people who would be, like, whoa, up in arms about this. We're going to amplify that. And so you look at, okay, we had a strong economy and gas prices were low and everybody was doing well. The economy was phenomenal. And so, okay, that's great. We had a president who was volatile because he spoke not like a politician. He spoke like a man, like an authentic human being. And that's what people gravitate towards, is authenticity.
Yeah. And I think he really was uncovering secrets and making a lot of people look more closely at things they would never have noticed. And I think that was a huge problem for the powers that be, whoever they are.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And then so this gets pushed forward to an impeachment. That first one was unsuccessful, as we all know. So the second one, let's try to push some other Russian collusion bullshit. And so all of a sudden, Trump's going through it again, this witch hunt, and he gets to the end of it, and they say, we're same result. We can't get rid of this guy. Nobody realizes this, but I was live that day. The next day, after they couldn't get Trump out, we had coronavirus. Nobody remembers that it was that close to each other. It was the day after Trump didn't get impeached. We had coronavirus. And I'm like, what the... So everything I knew was a head fake. Okay, we need coronavirus because we need mail-in voting. We need to shut down the government because we need mail-in voting. We had a freaking guy in a basement pooping in a triple diaper, and he got the most votes in history. And then when you're called a conspiracy theorist for saying the thing that's so conspiracy, which is that Joe Biden actually won. That's the conspiracy. Are you kidding me? The conspiracy is how a sleep sofa got 81 million votes. That's the conspiracy, right. And so,
who shuts down a vote count in the middle of the night?
Oh my goodness. We can get into that, but we'll probably get pulled down. I just want to say, so that we get to this. Okay. So that's the next move. We got to get rid of this guy. The only way we could do it is vote dumps and all this crazy stuff that we saw videos of 2000 Mules. If nobody wanted to watch that movie, and if that's not something you could watch in court and say, what the fuck is that? And there's no tampering. There was nothing. What? It was the most secure vote in history. Like, oh, come 81 million for a piece of garbage. You can't speak.
Right.
So anyway, so bottom line was this: you get to the end of Trump's his 4 years, and they're like, we can't get rid of this guy. Coronavirus comes. Now it's Trump's fault that we have coronavirus. It's Trump's fault that it's shutting down the government. It's Trump. Trump is talking about putting hydroxy poopy pants into things, and he's crazy. He's crazy.
Even though he wanted to shut down the borders, and he got criticized for that as a racist.
Trump wanted $5 billion to close the border. And nobody would give him $5 billion, so he did it on his own. He figured out how to make it done. They're going to spend $30 billion to finish this little piece of wall. They had all the materials, by the way, Andrea. They had all the materials. They sold it all off for $2 million last year. They spent $400 million, and I think it was, and then sold it for $2 million. And now they have to buy all the stuff again. Then they have to labor $30 billion. That's fine. It's fine. Let's do it. But $5 billion.
Stop bleeding for one thing. I actually was more referring to when you wanted to stop people coming over from China when coronavirus first started flying in. Stop travel in and out of the country too.
Yeah, well, I think that was a great move. Like, I mean,
right?
We look
but
back.
He was so criticized for it, but now it's still his fault somehow.
Yeah, and again, to me, the biggest kick in the face was that they were so anti this wall for 5 years. They called Trump a racist. They called anybody who thought the wall was necessary a racist, and they didn't have any heart and soul for immigration. That they don't like immigration. I was like, no, illegal immigration. That's the issue that
Right. They
anybody
don't know
has a
what they're
problem.
talking about.
Yeah,
You
or
can't
we're
just
like
open the
immigration.
freaking
We're all
borders.
freaking
God.
immigrants. You know, it's not like we're like, oh, some of us are immigrants and some of us aren't. Like we're all immigrants. We love immigrants in this country.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah,
go,
exactly. And our
who's that
parents
guy?
and grandparents or whoever was in our family line came through legally.
Yeah, exactly. My grandfather's name is on the. It's at the Statue of Liberty, Liberty Island. He's
Wow.
there at what's it called? Not Liberty Island. It's.
I forget what it's called too. This is terrible. History and geography. Don't even get me started. I can't.
believe I don't. No, it's. I can't believe I don't know this. My grandfather's name's on this wall, and I know it, and now I just can't think of it in this very second.
Ellis Island.
Ellis Island. Thank you very much. Wow.
Welcome.
So yeah, he's my grandpa's at Ellis Island, and he came here, and it was a process, but he did it, and he was an example of what you need to do in order to succeed in this country. He like sold his land and everything in Portugal for like nothing, and he owned a lot of land. He was the sheriff in town. He was like he was the man. But he saw opportunity for his family here in America, so he moves to America. He does it the legit way and goes to become a carpenter, becomes the president of the carpenters union, very quickly. He's apparently, I don't remember him that well because I was 7 when he passed, but very personable, really great guy. And he would take his shirt off his back for anybody. And I think that was something that set him apart, maybe why he was able to get going. But really, at the end of the day, this is the 1950s and 60s that they're living through. It's not an easy time in this country, except it was a great time to thrive. But it wasn't like I think it's an interesting thing that they want to talk about racism now, when it's a weird thing. I feel like we got rid of racism for a couple of years because Barack Obama got in. And I was like, yes, we got a black president. That means maybe we could put all that BS to rest. If this was a racist country, he wouldn't have been elected. This is what my mindset was, is like a
right, or lived for 2 terms.
Yeah. And I was like a 20. How old was I?
There's just not that much racist stuff going on that I see. Nothing, mean or mean spirited, and they're trying to make it something it's not.
Yeah, well, I think if you can get people to believe that there's a race card going out there, then it's another reason to turn your head when you walk by somebody. But I got to tell you, I don't come across people of all colors and creeds, and we smile at each other and say hello. I don't know if they're Republican or Democrat. I have no idea, because people are people, and we actually all would get along if they drop all the bullshit and they stop telling us that we hate each other and that, oh, your color means something. Nobody's friggin' white. You guys know that, right? This is like,
you're right. When you meet someone
white
on the street or whatever, it's just a person, and I think a lot of us, most of us are that way.
Yeah. And you know what? My father dealt with a lot of racism because he's got an olive complexion. He's Portuguese. And so when, he was growing up, the people were jerks still. So he dealt with it somewhat. And he taught us that, the one thing that I couldn't stand was that people wouldn't treat me for who I was and for my actions. And so he taught us, and they taught us from a very young age, that you treat people based on their actions. And I don't care what they look like, because if they're nice to you, that's like very hard to find in this world. And so my whole life, I've been very choosy about who I keep around me, but I would say that it's never been about color. Some of my best friends were black when I was younger. I loved hanging out with these people. They were freaking awesome. They're my people. Like my friends don't have color. It's like this energy. Like all these people I hung out with earlier were energy. Their color was pure light.
And I think that's what kids do, when you're young.
Yeah, you look for positivity. You look for people that lift you up, and you're not understanding the gravity of every interaction at that age. But you're moving towards the things that make you feel better about yourself. And as we get older in life, I think it's harder to it's harder to understand when those choices can be made, and also we're kind of desensitized to everything, so we lose focus, and we're just kind of like, okay, everybody's the same in a way, and I don't know if that's just because we get jaded over time, in a weird way.
Yeah, well, we get molded and formed and you know.
Yeah, and the manipulation of people, and you have people that wrong you and show you that they really don't give a crap about what happens to you while they go wherever they want to go. And life, I found, I came up with a word years ago that I started writing a book. I have to get back to it. I should. But the book was it was basically about this journey that I'm on here, and it's called um, Soulfillment. And
Well, what?
soulfillment. And it's a word I made up, really. There's no word soulfillment. But I thought to
Thank you.
myself,
I love it. Yeah.
yeah, my philosophy behind this was that when we do good things for people, we feel an immediate jolt of positivity within ourselves. And that is really, really powerful, and it's important for us to drive us on a daily basis. But there's something that happens at the same time called soulfillment.
Yeah, I
And,
see. I know exactly where you're going. That's great.
and you're
Yeah,
filling.
you should write that. You probably needed the perspective of more of these recent years before you really wanted to finish it anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I started it during the beginning of the pandemic. I was like, I'm gonna write my first book, and then like I got like a couple chapters in, and then I was just like, I just dropped it. And in fact, it wasn't really a story at the time. I didn't know I was gonna go live every day forever. I was just like, I was just started writing a book. I was live for a couple hundred days at that point.
Yeah.
But so many things have happened, and it's kind of weird when I think back that like the Donald Trump show, day 600 in a row, and I'm like, mother, girl, I'm here day 1742 in a row. Like I did that 1100 and something days ago, and I've been live every day since. And like all these other things happen, all these films and these songs, and it's all just in a weird timeline of events that I can't even, I can't even categorize all the stuff that's happened here because I'm alone. That's the thing that's kind of sad. It's like everything that happens with this platform I'm alone. So it's just like if there's a piece of content delivered, it's because I had a moment to do it. If there's a song that gets released, because I had a moment to do it. But if nothing ever gets released, it's because I don't have any time and nobody else shares my content. So that's the reality. So it's like I keep trying to take the stuff from the show and drop it because nobody ever will. And that's the thing. It's like I wish there were 100,000 people out there just taking bits from my show and sharing it. Just like, guys, check this out. This guy's live every night. Because I can't edit everything, and there are people who know how to edit. They drop content on different platforms. Use my content. I clearly don't know how to market my show. If I did, I'd have lots of people watching it. So I think it's going to be people who decide to clip things, share 20 seconds of a song or something with their group of people and say, guys, what do you do every night? If you're ever around, don't have to come every night, but if you're ever around.
I'm glad you brought that up because, well, two things. I'm trying to drill deeper into people I know to find people I can share it with. But you had asked the other night, you're talking the other night about wishing, you could come up with a way to, label some of your Trump stuff and so that it would get past the algorithm and people would see it.
Yeah.
And
what do you think?
A couple of good ideas, and I put it. I don't want to make make you feel bad, but in PayPal when I sent that money the other night, I had a message in there that explained it all.
Oh no, I didn't see the message because it doesn't come across that way. I got to go back and I'll go into
Doesn't?
PayPal. No, because it came through as just like a notification that popped down.
Right. I think you have to
And
go
so I
into the
gotta,
thing and
yeah.
probably do
So
something.
I'll go in after and I'll read that. Thank you, I appreciate that. But you what did you, or unless you want to share it, whatever. If you want to talk about it, you can
Just
now.
yeah, no, I don't. Something like okay, so if you would call it something like Trump's folly, that would
Trump's
attract a lot
folly.
of the people you're trying to
Trying
maybe
to, yeah.
show some light to, and then through the video you don't ever say it, but you illustrate that it's not his folly, it's the other whoever the protagonist is for the situation, and let them put the pieces together, but yet you're you're not shadow banned, and you might get people on there who would never think about that otherwise.
Well, so two things I already started to do, which is kind of interesting. So we have right now the Donald Trump show movie is uploading here on my channel. What I named it as at the moment, and I think like you said, maybe we'll adjust this between now and then. It's called the Donald Trump Show, the parody movie, Drain the Swamp. And so I think that maybe, I don't know, maybe that's not good at all.
No,
No,
that's kind of on the same page, exactly what I'm talking about.
like calling it a parody movie makes most people be like, oh, well, it's a Trump parody. That could go either way. You know what I mean? Like people who hate
Yeah,
Trump
that's
may
true.
want to check it
Yeah.
out because it's a parody movie, and it's really a face swap movie. You know, so I'm not really sure. Again, I think this has to be kind of maybe we have to do like a little control seminar and get some people to like. Even this would be a good thing. People should call in and say what they think, what we should call this thing. But just so you guys know, this is kind of cool. We have the Donald Trump show, the parody movie, uploading right now on my channel. But because I'm a freaking animal crazy maniac and I want to make sure that this thing gets out there, I started another channel, or I already had this channel, is like channels of mine. It's got 81 subscribers. So you guys all have to go over and subscribe to this channel because I may, and I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I may start going live on that one to see if we get any more people to join us. Because I'm certain that they just don't want people to find this fucking show, you know?
This is probably a large part of that. Yeah.
So if we maybe start bringing the 8 or 12 or 15 people over to that platform every day, who the frig cares if there's 11,000 people that aren't coming here, or if we're 81 over there, we may get more people live on a daily over there. We don't know yet. So I think we have to do is test this. And actually, it probably wouldn't even be me be going live on that platform because it's called the Donald Trump Show. Just so you guys know, the name of the channel is the Donald Trump Show. Maybe I will do some stuff live there. I don't know. But I'm thinking that that one is going to be going live at the same time as this one. So we have 2 premieres running at the same time on the Donald Trump Show and on the Mark Inspire Show. We'll see who gets more views live and who gets more views after 30 days, you know, and that'll tell us everything. If I got 81 subscribers over on the Donald Trump Show and we get more views in 30 days than on this platform, then that's the proof right there. In fact,
proof, right?
In fact, I should make a video. That would be a good piece of content to prove the shadow banning.
Yeah.
You know, and just start.
Yeah.
I could even actually take this little clip here while we're talking about that. You know what I mean? Make it part of this because at the end of the day, I already did an A/B test with the Get to Know America show when I created that. I created the Get to Know America channel. I uploaded the same video I put on this platform. And after 24 hours on this platform, we had 23 views, I think. And on 19 subscribers on the Get to Know America channel, I had 57 views on 19. And at that point, I had over 11,000 subscribers. They took over 400 subscribers from me over the last month. And before that, it was over 11,000, and they showed it to 23 people, and we had 57 after one day. And that was my A/B test, the first one, but I didn't, and I probably could just go back and clip that and make a piece of content of that because it's in the show somewhere when I did that. But
yeah, that's really telling. Yeah.
yes, but maybe I'll do it with this Trump show because I think they're gonna drop it out here on this platform certainly. But if we can kind of sneakily put it on the Donald Trump Show channel, maybe that'll get some views. Maybe they'll tie that together and say, well, it's the Donald Trump movie on a Donald Trump channel. Let's put it out there. Who knows? But I'm certain that no matter what I do here, it's not going to make a difference. I've had people say, oh, well, you should try this. You should try that. My friend the other day goes, oh, well, you know what you should do is if you get a really good piece of content. And I'm like, dude, do you know how many really good pieces of content I put out in the last almost 5 years? No one's seen any of it. 3,500 pieces of content. I would say maybe at least 1,000 were freaking phenomenal out of 3,500. 2,500 more were good. I don't know, but there's some phenomenal stuff within that 3,500 that, and when I watch it, I cry laughing, or the song is so beautiful. And I'm like, how, I can't believe I wrote that, you know, and that's powerful. But
Yeah.
you know, for someone to say, well, if you come up with a good piece of content, I'm like, motherfucker, are you kidding me? Like, how many more pieces of content that are pretty cool need to go out there and see 0 views or 35 views? It's like, I see shit all the time with thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. I'm like, I've never had anything do that. That's so crazy.
Yeah, Mark, yeah, you should definitely test that right away. I mean, the sooner you know that.
Yeah, you know what I may do, because that's uploaded. So that's, if you go to and I have to try to find this. I think if I switch over, let me see if I could do this real quick. I'm not sure what will happen if I switch over, or maybe I can type it in and find it. I'll send it into the link. I'll figure this out at some point, you know, but, we have the Donald Trump Show movie uploaded on the Donald Trump Show channel, and this one is uploading right now. At the end of the show, you're going to see the link to get to that. So if you guys head over, you're going to be able to at least give it a like, leave a comment, and hopefully share it to get ready for the premiere. And that's going to be, just so you know, Friday the 13th is when we're premiering this. I think that's cool. Like
Well,
putting out a movie
that's
on
good. Yeah.
Friday
Hey,
the
Trish had
13th.
an idea
What was that?
as a title, AI with DJT.
AI with DJT. AI with DJT as a
Well,
title.
DJT might not hit people like it hits us. I mean,
Yeah, I think that we have to try to get people to know it's and I think DJT does. A lot of people know that, but I think it will totally not get attention from people. Like we need to, the thing is the title has to be so good that people want to click the video. That's what we have to do is make a video, a link that's so enticing that you're like, all right, I want to check that out, And that's why I'm not really sure. Like I thought when I did this originally, the 36 episodes, I was like, okay, if the country saw this, if everybody in the country saw this stupid parody movie, that Joe Biden would get like 30 votes. I found everything bad he ever did.
right.
And maybe that's what I should
Right.
title it: Everything Bad Joe Biden ever did, and commentated as Donald Trump. That's what this is. And I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Why is my camera just blown?
Where'd you go?
I think like 30 minutes.
Oh, Lord.
But I find that when you do something like this, you have to come up with a really, really cool title or else it won't ever get out. And that's what I realized. I'm really bad at titling things, titling my show, all that stuff. I'm like, it's going to be live music tonight, guys. Like, who the fuck wants to watch that? Live music night. I need help, guys. Help me with titles. Hey, Mark, here's a good title for today's show. Just start sending that stuff to me, guys. All right, I'll title it whatever the hell you want. And then I'm going to do the show the way it is anyway. So any advice you guys have would be pretty cool. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it, sticking to it,
Well, we uncovered a little nugget while we were talking. Animal Crazy Guy is why you've done over 1,700 days in a row. Live.
1,700
That's
days
what
is
it is.
stupid. Well, I think the other thing I need assistance on, maybe you guys can
Quality.
figure this out. I think we have to figure out how to get media attention, and not necessarily and I'd love to get on other shows. I'd love to be a guest on shows. I could talk about anything. I could play music. I can make them laugh if they want to hear impressions, whatever. But get me on shows, guys. Just tell people I'm interested and I'll do it. Because that's going to get us people to watch the show, is if they see me on other shows and they like me on their show. So, and who knows if they'll like me, but the point is they'll never know about me unless I get on the show. So keep that open. If you guys are friendly with any shows, you're mods in any shows, let them know you have a guest. He's the longest running variety show on earth. This is the thing. Why doesn't anybody want to interview me after this fucking long?
Just that story alone is interesting, right?
Yeah,
that's why I was thinking about radio station. Don't they still have those morning radio shows where they have 2 or 3 people who sit around and just BS and bounce off each other and talk? They have
do.
News, they have traffic, they play music, but there's a lot of
that's what I'd actually like to do. That is to do a morning show with a bunch of a couple comedians. You know what I mean? Just talk things out about the world and let all the crazy that happens here, but with others bouncing ideas off other comedians, would be pretty funny. I'd love to start having comedians on the show, and just start interviewing them and talking about things and goofing around. Because I'm not a comedian by trade. I never took any lessons or anything. I just goof around. I do voices, that's basically it.
Voices are pretty unique. I mean, not very many people can do them very well, and that many.
I guess that's true. I mean, I should probably do more of that. That's actually
true.
probably what I should do more of. That is something that I was, I used to love and I do, but it's just
marketable skill.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think it would be pretty cool is if I had access to my face swap software anymore. It doesn't work anymore. Every time I start it, it just force quits. I don't know why, but it just doesn't work on this phone like it used to on the old phone. So I can't record my face swaps like I used to. It really pisses me off.
Did you get rid of your old phone?
I didn't. Where the frick is that phone?
With Wi-Fi, you should be able to run the program and record them and then just upload them to your...
Yeah, I have to figure that out. I have to find that thing. But you know what? That's a good point because I tried to start it up, but because there was no SIM in it anymore, it wouldn't let me do anything with it. But maybe I'll just work on it a little and figure that out. Because if I can use that software again, clone my apps and switch it over just so I could just